Good morning and welcome to the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. I'm Leah Cheshire, and on this first day of November, NASA astronauts Loral O'Hara and Jasmin Moghbeli are preparing for what will be both crew members' first spacewalks. Moghbeli arrived at the space station as part of Crew 7 in August, and O'Hara arrived on the Soyuz MS-24 spacecraft in September. This is the 269th spacewalk in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades, and it's also known as US EVA 89. Currently, both crew members and Satoshi Furukawa, along with Andy Mogensen, are in the equipment lock portion of the Quest airlock, continuing their in-suit light, or they've just completed their in-suit light exercise and pre-breathe protocols and are now stepping through in preparation for moving into the crew lock portion of the Quest airlock behind Mogensen. We were discussing the tasks slated for today. The crew members will replace one of 12 trundle bearing assemblies on the Solar Alpha rotary joint. These bearings enable the station's solar arrays to rotate properly and track the sun as the station orbits the Earth. So when looking at the space station, the antenna is on the starboard or right side of the truss, and the rotary joint is on the port or the left side. As you can see, it's going to be quite a busy day for our crew members, Moghbeli and O'Hara. Taking a look at these team members today, you'll be able to track them while outside the space station by taking a look at one difference on their suits. Today, Jasmin Moghbeli will be EV1, wearing red stripes around the legs of her suit. You can't see her right now as they are preparing to don the SAFER, or the Simplified Aid for EVA Rescue. And there she is. You can see that red stripe also on the top of her suit. Meanwhile, Loral O'Hara will be EV2, or Spacewalker number 2, and she's wearing an unmarked suit, so no stripes around the legs or top of her suit. Earlier this morning, O'Hara and Moghbeli were conducting the pre-breathing exercise. This consists of two phases. In the first, the crew breathes 100% oxygen through a mask to begin purging the nitrogen from their bodies. In the second phase, the crew gets in their spacesuits and conducts something called the in-suit light exercise. That's also known as IL. This is where they move their arms and legs very slightly just to raise their metabolic rate and speed up getting rid of that excess nitrogen. These two crew members have been preparing for this spacewalk since prior to their flight to the International Space Station. O'Hara and Moghbeli were able to practice this spacewalk in the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory here in Houston, Texas. The Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory is a 40 million gallon pool, allowing crew members to put on suits, get into the water, and become neutrally buoyant, where they can practice different spacewalk tasks on a mock-up of the space station. Furukawa and Mogensen are moving Jasmin Moghbeli into the crew lock portion of the Quest airlock and out of the equipment lock portion. Her SAFER donning is complete, Meanwhile, they will begin that process on NASA's Loral O'Hara. You can see her again. She's EV2 numbered today. She is wearing white stripes around the legs of her suit. In comparison to Jasmin Moghbeli wearing the red stripes on the outside of her suit, so you'll be able to keep up with who is who once they're outside the space station. It's now Loral O'Hara's turn to be assisted with her SAFER, the Simplified Aid for EVA Rescue. Again, Moghbeli has already moved into the crew lock portion, and we were tracking this spacewalk to start at 7:05 a.m. Central Time. That may occur a little bit earlier now as the crew continues to step through their procedures expeditiously. These astronauts will work to remove an H fixture. This is to help install a new International Space Station rollout solar array known as an IROSA in the future. We have installed a handful of these over the last several years. These H fixtures were not initially designed to be removed during spacewalks, but we have done so previously. And Loral O'Hara will take some time to work on a trundle bearing assembly. She will remove the trundle bearing assembly that's part of a solar array rotary joint, also known as a SARJ. These trundle bearing assemblies help facilitate the rotation of the solar arrays, and this one specifically is sticky, worn out, and the lube applied over time has worn down, so instead of just servicing it, it's being replaced entirely. As suit prep continues for today's spacewalk, let's learn a little bit more about the suits themselves. These are known as EMUs, or extravehicular mobility units. They're essentially an individual human-sized spacecraft. They each contain their own portable life support system. There are a lot of options when it comes to these suit sizes. Each space station suit has 3 sizes of upper torso, 8 sizes of adjustable elbows, over 65 sizes of gloves, 2 sizes of adjustable waists, 5 of adjustable knees, and a lot of padding options for almost every part of the body to make it fit as desired. When working with a suit sizing engineer on the ground, they take over 80 different body measurements that are plugged in to determine a start size for each modular component of the extravehicular mobility unit. These extravehicular mobility units, or the spacesuits that you see today, have 6 layers and provide atmospheric containment, thermal insulation, cooling, solar radiation protection, and micrometeoroid or orbital debris protection. So, of course, we mentioned the space station orbits the Earth about 16 times a day. So there are points throughout the spacewalk we will see today when the astronauts are in direct light from the sun. There are other times when they are in complete darkness. So these cooling and thermal units in the suit help regulate their temperature as their environment fluctuates from one extreme to another. It looks like Furukawa and Mogensen are conducting some final checks after attaching the safer to Loral O'Hara's suit. They will start moving her into the crew lock portion of the Quest airlock. Once we get closer to the start time of the spacewalk, they will close the hatch between the crew lock and the equipment lock portion and begin bringing the crew lock portion of Quest down to a vacuum. Both O'Hara and Moghbeli are in the crew lock portion of the Quest airlock. They've just received the go to close the hatch between the crew and equipment lock. They'll then start the depressurization process of the crew lock side, bringing it down to a vacuum so that the astronauts can open the hatch and start their spacewalk. U.S. spacewalks officially begin when the spacewalkers switch their suits to internal battery power.
Thermal covers coming open. Wow.
We copy the 6 lines visible, and you're about 13 minutes to a sunset, so you're coming out during day, which is probably painfully obvious to you. And you are go to egress the airlock, and Jaws, your first step is going to be to attach your anchor hook to the aft external D-ring.
Copy. It works. So, will we go sun visors down here? I have mine up and it's fine right now. Okay.
Yeah, you're only about 12 minutes from a sunset, so it is going to get a little dusky. For Loral, as Jaws works the tethers, your first step is going to be to hand out crew lock bag key, Papa, and a reminder that in this initial, as we hand out these initial bags, the large smalls are going to stay in the airlock.
Copy. Okay, my safety tether is on the aft D-ring extender, gate closed, hook lock, block on block.
Copy, your anchor is on the aft external D-ring. You can attach Loral's anchor, EV2's anchor, to the forward external D-ring.
It worked.
NASA astronaut Jasmin Moghbeli is the first out of the hatch this morning. Again, she is EV1 today. You can tell because she's got red stripes around the legs of her spacesuit. Meanwhile, EV2 Loral O'Hara will have no stripes on her spacesuit. Both crew members will turn on their helmet cameras. These will give us a view from their perspective throughout the day.
Okay. Me2 is egress. Okay, and as we're coming out, I see your 3 tabs up and your left paper handle down. Copy. My race tether on the handrail. Copy. All right, let me know when you're ready for the bags.
And we did copy those buddy checks, and we see you both out of the airlock. Welcome to space.
Thanks, man. Pretty incredible. Blowing my mind. I can see our dragon. Okay. Working on the BRT. Okay. And let me pass the handrail side to you.
That's NASA astronaut Loral O'Hara at the top of the screen, and the International Space Station now flying 267 statute miles over the Indian Ocean, coming up on the southwest coast of Australia.
Okay. Let me know when you're good for me to release. What? Come a little closer. Okay, I've got my BRT ret on. Okay. Got my... Okay, I've got the bag when you're ready. Okay. I've got my DRT cells on the TBA bag. Copy. Might take me a second to get it here. Yeah, for this time. Let me know if you need any help.
And Jaws, if you're not actively assisting, you can turn on your HECA.
Copy. HECA is on. I see a green LED.
Copy.
Oh, that's looking pretty good. Okay. Yeah, it's like right along your leg. I think that's really good. Okay. I'd like that. I think that's about as good as you're going to get. It looks really good. Okay.
Yeah, we concur, and when we do translation adaptation, if you need to reposition it, we can definitely take the time to do that. So, Loral, if you could turn on your HECA.
And I don't remember which paper handle I called for you before, Laurel, but now I see your right one. Oh, let's get our lights on. Our lights are coming on. Yeah, I've got mine on. Okay. And I see 2 green LEDs for you.
The crew members are closing the thermal cover. Again, this is not the airlock hatch that opens inside.
Copy. We see the thermal cover closed. At this time, if you'd like, we can perform translation adaptation in place, recommending, just like we do in the NBL, some rotation, pitch yaws and rolls, various hand grips, and attaching your local tether and releasing hands. So you can take your time with that and just let us know when you're ready to proceed. Probably the best way out you've ever had.
Hey. Hello? I said, all right. You good? I'm good. I'm good.
All right, we're all good then. So we can begin our translation. Reminder that, Laurel, you're going to lead out. to the green hook location, and Jaws, you're going to head up to the starboard airlock toolbox.
Okay, ED2, I'm picking up my base tether and starting translation. Copy, I'll be behind you, I'll watch your tether. Okay. It's my big bag. Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm on the feeder rail. I see you. I'm coming over your tether. I'm clear. My tethers are clear. Confirm. You look good.
And Jaws, you're heading to that starboard airlock toolbox and opening up the zenith door.
Copy, I'm on the starboard one and zenith door in work. Okay, and that door is open.
Copy. You can attach an AET to the bolt puller, and then you'll be releasing those locking tabs to retrieve it.
Copy. At the bottom, I didn't translate past that, so let's see if I can go back and clear that. We're just translating backwards.
Okay, we copy, Laurel. And for Jaws, we see you got the toolbox door closed, and we're going to be stowing that bolt puller on the toolbox as you are doing.
It's stowed.
And then you'll be following Laurel.
And I've released my wretch from it. Okay, copy. In work. Okay, I see my tether clear. I'm headed back outboard. Bag is streaming behind me. I feel better.
And Jaws, can you give us a confirmation that the door latch is closed?
Both door latches are closed.
Thank you much. And for both of you, in nighttime, just a reminder that your helmet lights have the 3 settings: off, spotlight, and floodlight. So if you're not getting the light that you want, you can twist those helmet lights or try hitting the button to get a different amount of light.
Copy. Copy. Okay, I see Laurel's tether. Okay. Time to come up. Okay, I'm clear of your tether. I'm coming up the Cedar spur. Okay, I can see my tether too. Copy. I'm under the MT on the other side. Copy to rail, headed outboard. I'm coming up on the starboard cedar rail here in a moment. How's the MT today? I say easier with the NBL. Nice. Yeah. Good news. Yeah. Problem.
Loral O'Hara and Jasmin Moghbeli have begun their translation out to their first work sites of the day. They will be split up on these first tasks. Moghbeli is heading out to work on the H fixture.
I'm at mile marker 8760. TVA bag is off to my left. Copy. I'm coming up on the port CETA cart.
As Moghbeli works on the 2AH fixture, O'Hara will be working on the trundle bearing assembly removal and replacement.
Get this bag stowed, and then my plan is to put a fairlead in.
Yep, and a reminder, Laura, you do have the setup steps and a diagram of that work site in your cuff pages 1 and 2 if you need it.
Okay. Okay, my green hook is on handrail 3652.
Okay, we copy a green handle on 3652. So you're also going to be heading outboard. You're going to head zenith when you get to mile marker 9540. That'll be the stanchion on face 1 with a label of 16 on it, and you'll head up to the zenith side.
Copy. I'm just going to make sure I'm conflicted here from Laurel's tether. My bag is wrapped around it right now.
Copy, and I'll try to point out the get-ahead site as you go by them. The first one that you're passing by is that FHRC right there.
Say again?
Yeah, just letting you know that that FHRC that you're at where you dropped your green hooks is one of the get-ahead sites. Should we come back to it?
Yes, for the stress. Copy.
Jasmin Moghbeli continues toward her work site. We have a view from her helmet camera on the left, and Loral O'Hara, who has arrived at her first work site today, on the right.
Okay, I'm continuing outboard. Copy.
All right, we copy, and you'll be taking a left turn at 9540 mile marker.
Copy, 9540. I've got one of the large small adjustables down on the stanchion of 3865, or on 3865.
Okay, we copy.
And I've got my beer.
Yep, and just however you need to position that bag so that the opening is towards you on cover 2. And for Jaws, I think you just put your left hand on it,
yeah.
But you're going for handrail 3681 for your adjustable fair lead.
Copy. Okay.
And if you want to take a look up, you'll see CP8. You will be back to this spot.
I will. I see it. And so there's a tether point, let's see, on the top of each cover, and so I'll drop this starboard, a large small adjustable on the cover 1 tether point.
Okay, copy. Yep, that looks good. Yeah, and all the covers have those tether points in the same location, so basically zenith and inboard. And Jaws, as you're putting your adjustable tether fair lead down, reminder that when we come back, we're going to be temp stowing the crew lock bag, either on the handrail that you're on, or the one to your right, which is 3802, or the one right above you, so you can kind of recon that area.
Copy. I've got the bag tied down in 2 spaces.
All right, copy, Laurel. So you're going to open that large ORU bag whenever you're in a good position and position the TBA bag bundle near the opening. And at any point for some stability, if you put your feet outboard, we think that 3865 or 3864 are good BRT locations.
Copy. That is my plan.
And Laurel, as you scout out your best body position, just a reminder, you want to be able to reach back and forth into the bag, and you want to verify reach to all 6 of the bolts on that cover, and you'll want access to your small trash bag as well.
As both crew members get set up at their work sites, we heard a call from Ground IV Ann McLean, also a NASA astronaut, up to NASA's Loral O'Hara, who is at her work site where she will be removing a trundle bearing assembly. The first step is to release 6 bolts from the solar array rotary joint cover.
Richmond fairly is down.
All right, copy. You are go to translate, continue your translation outboard, checking that your gauntlets are in place, and you're going to cross over the Sarge just zenith of Laurel.
Copy. Let me get my CRT back to a good config first. Okay, my gauntlets are down, continuing outboard.
Copy, your gauntlets are down. When you head outboard, just before you cross the Sarge, you're going to see handrail 3866. That's how you know you're crossing at the right spot. And then when you get out to the P4, the radiator is pointed forward, and you're going to be above that, and you're going to look for the handrail path that starts at width 3 and width 7. So you're going to cross from 3866 handrail over toward width 3 and width 7.
3866 over width 3 to width 7.
Good read back.
On Laurel, I see you. Copy. So I started to get set up, but my safety tether is definitely pulling me back to zero lock, so I'm going to set up a fair lead here. Probably on the edge of 3864.
Okay, we copy, Laurel.
There's also a little bit of some structure just kind of right over cover 1 that I think the bag isn't really going to sit on top of cover 1 like we were talking about. I think it will be just flopping around there.
And you can tack that down with extra ret or cinch the straps down as needed, or reposition wherever you think you can get it so you can access it.
Okay, copy. Okay, and I'm at 5138. I'll put a poor man's in here.
Copy, 5138 for the poor man's, and as you know, you'll move nadir after that. And as you headed out, you passed by the P4-4A IEA, which is also one of the potential get-ahead sites.
Copy. For this, I'm just going to hook that one end of the adjustable on handrail 3864, and I'm going to put the other on the safety tether rail.
Okay, we copy, Laurel.
Let go. All right. Okay, I have a fair lead on 5138.
Copy your fair lead. You're going to move nadir, looking for 5208.
Copy.
And 5208 might be a good spot to change your body orientation to be looking toward the mass canister, and then we'll be translating onto the mass canister.
Okay, copy. That fairly helps a lot.
Copy, good news, Laurel. Yeah, we were wondering how much that was going to pull. Jaws, as you get to the mass canister, reminder, we want to move very slowly on the mass canister so as not to impart loads and motions, maintaining that less than 2.5 seconds per foot, no cyclic loading, and then no kind of lateral loading on the BGA. As you head toward the mass canister, that small handrail that you're going to be in between the two boxes, it looks like you're already up there. 5174 is the long handrail on the side of the mass canister, and that's where you're aiming.
Okay. I'm in position, and I'll work on stowing my bag.
Yep, we see you there.
Oh, I see the sun coming up. I can see it too. I like it.
Okay, we copy Laurel. For Laurel, your settings are Alpha 4, Counter 2. And a reminder on the bolt nomenclature, it looks like you're heading toward the right one, so the farthest away from you and to the right is Alpha 1.
And I've got Alpha, Counter 2 set.
Alpha 4, Counter 2 set. Okay, so for these ones, we're going to be doing bolts 1B and 1A. Those are the two next to the tether point that you're at. Exactly 8 turns.
Okay, that's 8 turns on big Alpha 1. Okay, from EV1, bolt 1, released 1 turn.
Copy for Jaws, bolt 1, 1 turn.
Bolt 3, released 1 turn from Jaws.
Copy H-fixture, bolt 3, released 1 turn.
EV1, bolt 2, released 1 turn.
Bolt 2, 1 turn for the H-fixture.
Bolt 4, released 1 turn.
Copy bolt 4. So we have 1 turn on all of the H-fixture bolts. Nicely done. A reminder for the next steps that the bolts will pop out when they're fully released. And same reminder on these Fairchild fasteners that the spring can protrude and create a sharp edge concern. And that the H-fixture can kind of self-release from the GSE pad due to stored energy. So you can reset your PGT Jaws to Alpha 6.
I hope so.
We do too. You can reset your PGT to Alpha 6.
Set to Alpha 6.
Counter 1.
A great view of both astronauts outside at their respective workstations. Down at the bottom right, with the red stripes around the bottom of her spacesuit, is NASA's Jasmin Moghbeli. She's EV1 today. On the left, with no stripes on the suit, is Loral O'Hara, who is EV2. Again, both spacewalkers on their first expedition outside the hatch today.
And Laurel, we see you
I
going.
had a hard time getting my PRT. It's enough to hold my body. Right?
Copy. We see you going for bolt 1.
Yeah, I couldn't get mine nearly as rigid as I wanted either, Laurel.
So for Laurel, could you just clarify it's just the body position, or are you having issues with any of the bolts?
I'm not having issues with the bolts, yeah. I'm just trying to get my BRT into a position where it's stabilizing me.
Copy. I understand.
Just over 4 hours into today's spacewalk. Again, that's starting at 7:05 a.m. Central Time.
Lead on 252.
Okay, and if you just look up and left, we're just seeing your safety tether. Maybe that's your expected routing, but your safety tether kind of goes up above your head, and then it's just kind of cut a little bit on the MLI on that strut. So just make sure that's at a good config.
Jasmin Moghbeli, whose camera view you have on the left, and you can see there, is wearing the red stripes as EV1 today, continues work on the RFG, the radio frequency group. It was planned to be removed in this spacewalk. However, the spacewalkers will configure it for removal on a future EVA.
Got my green tether reel right in front of me. I see it off your left side, under your BRT. Your tether pack? Is it trapped in my BRT or? Rotate towards your head. Like roll. Oh, yeah.
Coming up on 5 hours and 45 minutes into today's spacewalk, which started at 7:05 a.m. Central Time. Jasmin Moghbeli is reinstalling some multi-layer insulation covering over the RFG. That's the radio frequency group. The crew members are essentially wrapping up their tasks for today and will begin starting to move toward the airlock soon.
Okay, that is to my left waist tether.
Copy, and we'll want those gates closed, sliders locked.
Okay, gate closed, slider lock on both.
Copy, you can release your RET from the hook, and then you can release your own anchor from the aft external D-ring and stow it and ingress.
And the hatch is now open between the crew and equipment lock. That's NASA astronaut Loral O'Hara being helped back into the equipment lock portion first. As O'Hara and Moghbeli are helped out of their suits, another recap of the tasks accomplished today, a complex spacewalk. First today, Moghbeli completed removal of the H fixture, which allows for future installation of an IROSA solar array. That's a rollout solar array. Meanwhile, O'Hara worked to remove a trundle bearing assembly, then lubricate the area before installing a new trundle bearing assembly. This is on the solar array rotary joint that helped rotate the solar arrays to keep track with the sun. Moghbeli reconfigured an Ethernet cable, and the ground teams confirmed that was successful, and they have no conflicts with a camera that is in that area. O'Hara also completed a get-ahead, reconfiguring the starboard crew equipment translation aid, also known as the SETA cart, working on a brake handle in that area. Ground teams also confirmed that the trundle bearing assembly O'Hara installed today is working as planned. The crew moved on to work on the radio frequency group, but did not have enough time to remove it as was previously planned. But the teams on the ground now have a better understanding of the configuration of that area and will make plans for a future spacewalk. Both crew members are back in the equipment lock portion of the Quest airlock. Andy Mogensen in the center of the screen. He is current ISS commander and assisting with the suit doffing today. Again, today's spacewalk, 6 hours and 42 minutes, the first spacewalk for both O'Hara and Moghbeli. And with both crew members, Loral O'Hara and Jasmin Moghbeli, back inside the International Space Station's Quest airlock and their helmets removed, we are going to wrap up our coverage for today. Again, today's spacewalk for these two, it was both of their first venture outside the hatch, totaled at 6 hours and 42 minutes. A successful spacewalk accomplishing some very complex tasks for the International Space Station, and we look forward to the next opportunity to see the work done outside the hatch. This is Mission Control Houston.